Hello, boys and girls and ladies and germs. My name is Kaylee Quick, and today I'm going to teach you a little bit about Kahoot. Kahoot is a game website and app that allows teachers to create competitive quizzes. It provides real-time assessment and post-game reporting for individual students. I find it to be very helpful in my classroom, especially for review. The kids love it. They get really competitive and engaged in it, which is super fun for the classroom and makes for a really lively classroom. So the first thing I'm going to do today is have you go to kahoot.com. Kahoot.com. It's going to bring you to an introductory page, homepage, which I pretty much ignore. So if you're new to Kahoot, feel free to go to the Sign Up tab, the blue button in the upper right-hand corner. But since I already have an account, I'm going to go to Login. Taking a second. From here, my login, it's KQuick, my FUSD email, and login. Still loading. So this brings me to a new page where I log into. I also pretty much ignore all of this because I don't really find it useful. The thing that I do find useful is in the upper left-hand corner, the button that says Kahoots. So go ahead and click on that. I need like some sort of song and dance while the web pages are loading, just to keep this interesting. Anyways, web page loaded. First thing you're going to see on the left-hand side is a tab that says My Kahoots. This will bring you to all of your Kahoots that you've created. I've made a bunch of them. And we'll go over that a little bit more in depth in a second. The next tab is Flagstaff High School. I have not networked with my colleagues to enjoy sharing our Kahoots yet, but apparently there is an option to do so. Every time I click on this Flagstaff High School tab, nothing shows up, so either I'm doing something dumb or the website's being dumb. Next is Favorites. So in the Favorites tab, you can mark some of your favorite Kahoots. Right now I have no favorite Kahoots, but if I go back to my Kahoots, if I go back to my Kahoots, there's a little star to mark it as a favorite Kahoot. So now when I go back to favorites, Illustrator file types will be marked. There it is. Shared with me. Again, I haven't really networked with anybody, so I have no shared with me in my tab, but that is a feature that you can do. Then My Drafts is the last one. I have one draft while I was practicing going through this process for you. It's nothing special. So I'm going to go back to the tab My Kahoots at the top. From here I have initially everything that I've created. I'm going to go ahead and just click on one of these. It's going to bring me to this preview section of Kahoot where I can just scan over the quiz that I made and kind of check it. If I click on the quiz, I can check the answers that I've provided for the kids and the correct answer. So I'm going to just go back to Kahoots from here. I don't really use this often, honestly. I normally just edit the Kahoots or play the game. So I'm going to go back to the tab Kahoots up at the top here. and it defaults to my Kahoots. From here, I'm going to go ahead and create a new Kahoot. I have two options to do that. I've got the little create new link right there, or the create button up at the top in the upper right hand corner. I'm just going to click that one because it's convenient. So from here, a window should pop up asking me what style of Kahoot that I want. These are all templates for other Kahoot styles. You can see that they have this little crown sign because they do have a premium version of Kahoot, which I have not paid for. I don't really find it necessary. I get enough out of it from the free version. So I'm just going to go ahead and click Create in the New Kahoot section. This brings me to a new page. It initially starts out with the first type of question, which is a multiple choice. Let me just walk you through each of these options. So the first thing I'm going to do is name the question. What question should I name? What is Mrs. Quick's favorite color in the whole world? Aha. From here, I've got a time limit to the left. I can click on that and set it to any time limit I want. I usually do 20 seconds because it's the default, and my questions are never super long with super long answers. The free version of Kahoot has a limit on both the question characters and the answer characters. So sometimes the drawback of Kahoot is I find I have to really make those questions and answers concise so the kids can read them really fast and answer it in 20 seconds. I'm just trimming and hoping I'm still getting the correct point. So that's a con, but I've worked around it pretty well. So 20-second limit, points for 1,000. You can weight points based on the question in the game. I don't really do that. I kind of keep them all the same, worth 1,000 points. I like the 1,000-point number because kids get all excited like, ooh, it's all the points in the world. So that's kind of fun. Answer options, I can drop that down. So single select the answer or multi-select, which again is for the premium version. The next option you have is to drag and drop an image from your computer. You can go to Image Library, and it gives you a whole lot of things to choose from. I'm going to choose this really cool graffiti mural with people walking. Say you no longer like your graffiti mural, I'm just going to remove that, and I can upload an image from my computer. In my downloads, so it's a little bit crazy in here, so I'm going to spare you. And lastly, you can add a YouTube link by just pasting the URL from YouTube that you want to go in there. If you paste a URL from YouTube and it's a small clip, I highly recommend adjusting the time limit, just because the students will need time to watch it and then process to answer, and you just need a little bit more. When I click on the YouTube link again, I can also pick areas that I'm going to just have an excerpt of the video, start video at this time and video at this time. Console. So from here, I have the option of adding answers. I need at least 2 answers, but the third and fourth answer is optional. I normally do 4 unless I'm just really at a loss of what to write and how concise to write it, but that's up to you. So the first one, let's say black. Hey, that's my hair color. Second one, let's say red. No, let's get specific because I'm a teacher. Coral. The next one, T-U-R-Q-U-O. I can never spell turquoise right. I think that one's right. And then the last one is purple. No, let's do violet. I'm such a dork. So I've got all of my answers written in. I've selected my favorite color here in this circle, which means that this is the answer that the students will need to select. What's it called? The interface that kids work with is a little bit different, and I'll show you that in a second when they're actually playing the Kahoot. I have a couple of more options here. I can import slides, which again is premium, or import spreadsheet, which I've never done. Despite being pretty tech savvy, I know virtually nothing about spreadsheets and programs that use spreadsheets, so I'm going to ignore that probably for the rest of my life. So I am all done with my question. Over here on the left-hand side, I have a couple of options. I'm going to start with Question Bank first. So Question Bank actually searches all of the questions that are made public by different Kahoots. So say I'm doing a Kahoot game on typography. Here is all of the questions that are available that I could add that have already been written about typography. So this person kindly made a typography Kahoot and provided a bunch of answers. So I'm going to go ahead and just add my what is typography question. Oh, look, Mrs. Quick also made one. I wonder who that is. I'm going to add that one too. So now I've got two ready-made questions that I don't have to spend the time to go through and create myself, which makes it a little bit easier. I'm going to close this. Next, I'm going to go to the Add Question section, and this gives me a few options to select. The ones I'm going to focus on are the quiz and true and false, but you can also access any of these other types in the premium version. So I'm not going to go over that now because I'm cheap and I don't want to buy the premium version. Let's go back. I have notes here so I remember what I'm doing, because otherwise, it's gone. So we just did a quiz question. We went over that's the default. You can also do true or false, and it provides you with true and false. All of this is the same as I just showed you in the quiz section, so that is true. Everything that I just provided you is in the quiz section. I'm going to mark true. That wasn't funny. Any hoozles. So we are done creating our quiz. Woohoo! We did it! Time to launch it with the kids. I'm going to go ahead and click Done, the green button in the upper right-hand corner. Oh my gosh, I have a gazillion tabs. I bet all of your tabs look like that too because we are crazy teachers. Anyways, I'm done, but what's nice about Kahoot is it's telling me, hey, you don't have an answer for true or false question number 4. Before you launch this, you might want to fix that. So when I click Fix, it's going to bring me back and I'm going to put a question for it, and oh yeah, question missing. And fix that. But right now I'm going to just keep it as a draft, and it will go into my draft section, which I showed you earlier. There's my drafts. Haven't done anything to them. So the next thing we're going to do is actually run our Kahoot. I'm going to go back to the My Kahoots tab. And I'm going to go to the Kahoot I created and saved and click play. So I have two options here. I can either teach it or assign it. I've done both, but I mostly teach it, especially back when we were in the actual school classroom. And I'll go over the different types of ways that I run it there in a second. Or you can assign it to individual students to run the game on their own. Kids don't like that as much because they're not like winning against their peers, which is their favorite thing in the world. So I'm just going to go to teach. Load, 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 load. Look, it's even telling me it's loading. Any hoozles. When I start to play my Kahoot, a new window pops up that gives me a bunch of control options before I actually decide to run the game. These are the two options that I can run the game in. I can either run classic mode, which is everybody competing against everybody, or I can run team mode, and the website will randomly assign teams that battle against each other. So you've got a bunch of options under there to customize this game. So personalized learning, it's a premium edition. Friendly name generator. That's a good one. The only problem with friendly name generator is that you can't give the kids the option of putting in their real name, which helps for reporting, which we'll go over in a little bit. I love the friendly name generator because no matter how many times I say don't put something rude or inappropriate, I get some kid who puts something rude and inappropriate. So the friendly name generator is hilarious because it gives them like animal names and silly stuff like silly skunk, and they hate it. And that's what makes teaching fun. I didn't say that. Anyways, lobby music. The lobby music's the worst, in my humble opinion. The kids like it, so if you can tolerate the repetitive, annoying sound coming through your Kahoot, you do you. Right here, it lets you choose which type of lobby music, but it doesn't really let you turn it off. So I'll show you how to do that in a second. Actually, I'll show you right now. If you go to your tab up at the top here and you right click on it, click on Mute Site, and then it will just mute that browser tab. And this is really helpful if you're going to any websites, like food websites are guilty of this. They put videos just automatically playing, drives me nuts. Detour. Nothing about the teaching, Kaylee. Okay, after lobby music, you have randomized order of questions, which I always like to choose because sometimes I accidentally mark like A for everything. Randomized order of questions, I like to hit that one too. Show minimized intro instructions, I don't really do that. And two-step join, never done that before. Automatically move through questions. I can show you that in a little bit. Like for now, you have to press like a next button when you're playing in game after a question. But if it automatically runs through it, it doesn't give you the time to really sit with the winners on the podiums, which we'll go over in a second. And rejoin after every game. This is kind of a nice one too because after you've run one Kahoot game, it resets everything and it'll just kind of move all of the users inside the new game. Okay, I hope that was clear. It's hard to be clear when I'm not directly showing you, so hoping to do that in a second. I'm just going to go ahead and click Classic Mode up here. Alrighty. So this is an important section. Right now it's displaying a giant pin for the kids. The kids are actually going to go to kahoot.it on their iPads or their cell phones. I highly recommend using both, especially in an online teaching environment, because they're going to need an area to see the question and then they're going to need a separate device to answer the question. So I'm going to do a quick recording of what it looks like from their end. So here's what it looks like from a student perspective. You're just going to have them go to kahoot.it, whether it be on their phone or a tablet. Have them enter in the game pin from your screen, and then they can press enter. From here, it allows students to select their name. Since we selected the random name generator, it's going to give them a random name. Oh, Classy Rabbit. They're gonna love it. As you can see on this screen, I now have Classy Rabbit loaded within my Kahoot. Say Classy Rabbit is a really inappropriate name. I'm allergic to rabbits, so I don't like them. I want to get rid of them. You can just single click with your computer or your mouse on Classy Rabbit, and it's going to bump that name out of the Kahoot and force the student to repick their name, should you be nice enough to let them pick their own names. I'm a sucker, sometimes I do. But it's dangerous because we're like not their age, and they make up all this kind of terrible stuff that I don't know what it means. So, the end. I'm going to go ahead and click Start. Three, two, oh, it didn't give me a 1. So here's my question in graphic design terms. And this is what displays on my screen. So this file type is most commonly used for the web, blah, blah, blah. What answer is it? So let me show you what it looks like on the kids' screen. So the kids have a really limited view of what they can see, which is why we need 2 screens to run Kahoot. They just see the shapes and the colors. I really wish it listed the question as well. So after they're done answering the question, it'll bring you to this screen, which gives the right answer. I changed questions because I need a little bit of time in case you're the Illustrator file types dork. After the question has been answered, and you can see how many right and wrong, or how many students got it that were right or were wrong, you can go ahead and click Next. And it will tell you the scores, top 5 of all of the people on the leaderboard. I'm going to go ahead and click Next, and then the new question pops up. So let's get rid of this. I need to get out of here. Let's just close the tab. Easy. I don't want it to be saved. So I'm now back to Kahoot. So one thing I wanted to talk about is that there are 2 ways that we can run Kahoot. In this new digital online world, I kind of did a makeshift way, and I haven't run it with my students yet, so I hope it works for this coming semester. But what you can do is actually be on a Zoom call with the kids, have them all in your classroom, share your screen from your computer, then have them log in with their cell phones or iPads. Actually, no, just their cell phones. Have them log in with their cell phones while they have the Zoom share screen projected on their iPads. I hope that makes sense. So again, run a Zoom class, share your screen with all of the questions for the game that you're running, have the kids have the Zoom on their iPad and projecting all the questions and we're reading them to them simultaneously while they're playing and answering from their phone. The next way, which is the way that I've done it traditionally, is run my computer through a projector in my classroom and just having it featured on a giant screen. All of the questions are there, I can read them, and then the kids are on their devices, and the kids can be answering the questions from the projector screen. And it's really fun when you have the whole class together doing this. Honestly, like, my kids stand up, they get like, oh, so upset when they miss a question, and it's really cute. Okie dokie. The next thing I want to show you is the Reports tab. So we're back to my Kahoots. And just go ahead and click on the Reports tab in the upper third of the screen. Do, 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 do. Kids wouldn't get that song. We get it, though. Can't make that one during my class tutorials. Okay, so in the reports section, you get an ordered list of every Kahoot you've ever played. Dang, I've played a lot. And I like to duplicate how we play them for that repetition for the kids because they're so into it. And if we're going into a quiz or I just want them to like have that repetition, I'll play it a bunch of times. So let's click on a Kahoot. Illustrator file types. This is the one we just played. So there was only one kid in there, me. So let's go to another one. Let's go backwards because this doesn't give us any good information. All right, let's go to the one that we played on March 5th. Oh, okay. So the report illustrator file types, the summary, only 48% of my kids got correct, which is really helpful, even though it's kind of a low number. It makes me realize, oh, the kids have no idea really what's up yet. So I'm going to review this in detail for the next day or so. When you go through the summary section, it's going to tell you what the most difficult questions were for the kids. So maybe you go through back in your editing section and rephrase what the question means so for next time when you practice it's not as confusing, or reteach it. Over here it will tell you the number of players, 18, the number of questions within your Kahoot, and the time that the whole Kahoot took. These are the students that need help. Apparently I had 6 of them. Red deer, clever meerkat, zany gecko. They didn't do well at all, mostly because it looks like they pieced out. That's something you have to watch out for too. I find in my class that if I'm at the front running the Kahoot, the kids, because I have a computer lab, the kids are back there in the computer lab, and I have to try and cycle through as much as I can from the front of the class to like walking around and making sure they're engaged. But sometimes they can just be stinkers and sneak. So this is where it's really helpful to have them put their real names and make it mandatory that they use their real names and bump them if they don't. Because now I can see, oh, little Jimmy didn't do anything. I'm going to need to have a conversation with little Jimmy. I don't know. And then students that didn't finish. Maybe they left class. Maybe they got checked out, or maybe they just stopped caring. Oh, but everybody cares. So from here, I can go to player summary. After the summary. And this will tell me how all my students did. Look, some of them actually know what I'm teaching them. Thank goodness. So we've got a need help section and a didn't finish section. The third tab is questions. So it's just going to review all the questions that you wrote, and it'll tell you how much that each student got it correct. And then feedback. I didn't get any feedback. Sometimes I don't let them give feedback in enough time because they don't always say nice things because that's their nature, even though they obviously had fun. So that's all I got for you in my video today. I hope that you got something from it, you learned something from it, and you're going to transform your classroom with Kahoot games. And if you have any questions that I might be able to help with, please leave a comment below and I will do my best to answer it. Have a super fantastic day. Bye-bye.